my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate.
Resident Evil 2 is a remake of 1998's Resident Evil 2 for the first PlayStation. How does the remake compare to this classic? Well, honestly, I have no idea, because I've never played the original. In fact, prior to this game, the grand total of my exposure to the franchise has been seeing a couple of the movies, which were beating the first level of RE5, playing even less of RE4, and beating Jill's campaign in RE1 immediately prior to this game coming out. So that's my history with Resident Evil. What did I think of the game? Well, to put a long story short, it's good. Keep in mind, I think the game overall is good, okay? It's good. Remember that. There's a test at the end. Because I'm about to go into a lot of things that bugged me about this game. I don't think they outweigh the good that the game does, but I do think it's still worth mentioning overall. Now that said, the game looks positively gorgeous, from the cluttered, disaster zone area of the RPD's ruined and zombie-infested hallways, the rainy streets of Raccoon City, to the gory details on the models, player and enemy alike. This game looks absolutely fantastic and creates a really good sense of atmosphere that carries through most of the game. The story is decent, I guess. It didn't blow my mind away or anything, but served as enough of a vehicle to get everything from point A to point B. I think the only real question I had was how in the world Leon and Claire met up at around the same time, in the same place, without actually running into each other more often. Like, seriously, they meet at the gas station, drive to Raccoon City, get separated by the truck, briefly meet up again when they're separated by a wall, and then, despite going through all the same locations, never once see each other until the end. Hell, there are barely any signs the other character hasn't gone on some zombie-killing rampage through the RPD, aside from, I think, a memo Leon leaves Claire at some points. So I've heard the original game handled this better with a zapping system. But again, I haven't played it, so I can't attest to how effective that was. I only bring it up because in my mind, I just imagine both of these stories playing out and going, well, someone's story has to be easier than what we actually saw, right? Mr. X gets killed halfway through the story in Claire's campaign before he gets to give it to you, but in Leon's, he hasn't been ripped in half, and you have to kill him with a rocket launcher. You know, like, or did Leon just not kill any zombies at all in the RPD by the time Claire got there? Did Birkin chase Leon, fall down, climb back up, and then chase Claire around in the exact same room? How did Leon get through the labs? Or vice versa, if there was only one of those high-level clearance security IDs that you had to exterminate the killer plants to get. Like, do you guys see what I mean here? It's like, how did these two go through at the same time, or near the same time? Confusing sequential order aside, like I said, the story is basically just a vehicle to get these people from point A to point B. It does that. That's all. Do I think it detracts from the game? A little bit. Do I think it detracts enough to drag the game down? No, not at all. Gameplay, I feel, is another mixed bag of good and bad. The worst parts of the gameplay, I think, came from the forced Ada and Sherry sections. It's essentially just one level per scenario of gimmicky gameplay with a side character, being Ada or Sherry, instead of, you know, Leon or Claire, the two characters I want to actually be playing as. Now, this is not nearly not nearly as bad as Insomniac's Spider-Man game on the PS4 with the absolutely insufferable Mary Jane and Miles Morales stealth sections. So at least we have that going for us. Also, Sherry's puzzle I don't quite get. Like, I don't know, can't you just pull the duct tape off? Do we really need a puzzle to get some scissors when we can just pull the tape off? I don't know. Next on gameplay, I think, would be the Bullet Sponge Zombies. The game seems incredibly confused on just how powerful Leon or Claire's basic handgun really is. A text blurb saying Leon's gun has deficiencies doesn't quite cut it when I can casually blow off limbs like I'm RoboCop playing Dead Space more often than not, but God forbid I try to kill a zombie by shooting it in the head. I either A, blow its head up immediately, or B, what's more likely, end up shooting it at least 6 or 7 times before the damn zombie actually dies. Maybe. Oh, but Axelon, you're not supposed to kill the zombies. You're supposed to conserve your ammo and survive the apocalypse. Okay, that is a fair point. I counter this point by kindly pointing out that in my final Leon and Claire videos, I am positively overflowing with ammo that I've been hoarding throughout both scenarios. Ammo conservation is not the issue here. It's the lack of sense. It's the zombies not dying when their brain should be obliterated with the same force that I'm using to shatter their limbs off of them. If I were shooting a zombie in the chest and wasting bullets, sure, but that's not the issue here at all. But Axelon, this isn't even realistic at all. Why does this bother you in a game with reanimated corpses? Okay, so hold up, because that argument also doesn't pan out. The game sets up why there are reanimated corpses walking around, okay? It's the T-virus. So, within the Resident Evil world, that's realistic, okay? Zombies are realistic in Resident Evil. What isn't realistic is that their zombie brains aren't as fragile as their bones. I mean, I get it. It's totally to extend gameplay and make it so you can't beat RE2 super fast, you know, speedruns aside. But if you wanted that same fear of running out of ammo and managing your survival, why not, oh, I don't know, make zombies easier to kill and just lower the amount of ammo in the game. Or keep the same levels of ammo, make the zombies easier to kill, and then have more zombies walking around to compensate for your increased levels of ammo. Finally, we have Mr. X. I have no idea why he's called Mr. X. I wouldn't even know he's called Mr. X if not for all the X gon' give it to you memes about him. Because the game certainly never tells me he's called Mr. X. So Mr. X is both good and bad. He's good because he is a relentless, untiring threat that chases you all across the police station. However, I do think he ruins the quiet, creepy atmosphere which is omnipresent in the game itself in favor of a more frantic, desperate one. So which one you prefer honestly depends on what you like more. Do you prefer like the slower paced horror of the RPD with the zombies and the occasional liquor? Or do you like the frantic, oh my god, he's right behind me, Mr. X scenario? You know, whichever is your cup of tea, you know, that's on you. Personally, I like the slower paced one, so Mr. X was meh to me. I mean, he's not that bad. He's not that fast, and aside from like a really beefy hook or a grab, he doesn't do that much. The real threat Mr. X poses is when he chases you into the other threats roaming around, the aforementioned bullet sponge zombies or the lickers. Never mind, it can detect me. Get away from me. Oh, there's two of them here. That's just great. Oh my god. So after a while, he stopped being scary and just became irritating. Especially since he can't die. No matter how many magnum rounds you pump into his face, he will not die. At best, he will take a knee for a couple minutes. How does that work? I don't know. So again, this isn't unmanageable, and despite these faults, it doesn't stop the game from being good. They're just things that grated on me. It's not all bad, aside from the fantastic atmosphere, which Mr. X may or may not ruin. Guns, besides your initial Nerf gun, that, you know, also turns into Robocop's gun when used on zombie limbs but not on their faces, feel good to use more or less. Changing the knife, for instance, so that you can actually retrieve it from a corpse after stabbing them, something which to this day I don't understand wasn't a thing in RE1, is a fantastic move. The knife is also, strangely enough, one of the better ways to kill a licker. The best way, even, if you're trying to conserve ammo. I do think that a key taking up as much space as a weapon is a bit much in terms of inventory management, but in the end, even my nitpicker brain must allow for some game contrivances. Overall, RE2 is a fantastic game, and I do wholeheartedly recommend you play it, as the lows don't outweigh the highs in terms of an enjoyable product. The atmosphere and detail are great, everything looks fantastic, and gameplay gripes aside, the game plays smoothly, and I had a blast playing this game. I admittedly did start losing patience with the game towards the end of the survivor modes, since it focused on what I consider the negatives more than it did the positives, but overall I think this is a solid product and a definite plus to Capcom's collection. I would recommend you guys play it. I had fun, and from the sounds of it, a lot of people are having fun. I would definitely purchase this game. So thanks for watching, everyone. As always, if you like what you see here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to hit that notification icon to be notified about all the updates we do here on the channel. You can also reach out to us on Twitter over at @Enthusiacs or at my own Twitter handle @AxelonPrimus. You can see both of them displayed above. And I will see you guys next time.